grandmother was a loving, kind person, and I'm sad to see her go. She had a knack for growing plants and sewing too. She also loves spending time in the garden, and sometimes we would help her grow new plants. She was the best mother, and I will always love her. Hello, I'm here today to talk about my grandmother. She was the kindest woman I ever knew besides my mother. She had a perfect green thumb, and her beautiful garden is still there today. She was really nice and energetic. She also had a passion for cooking, and her cookies were perfect. Also, she was very talkative. She would talk about anything from books, flowers, flags, and traveling, etc. She also liked learning about her ancestry. We all like things about, like history or geography. She was like Google history. We didn't need Google because she was so intelligent. She was a traveler and lived in Saudi Arabia too. I tried to make my speech short, but I knew that time is never wasted remembering someone you love. Thank you.
Thank you, boys. All right, good morning. I want to thank all of you for being here today to remember our mother, Susan, and for supporting our family during this difficult time. It really means a lot to all of us, so thank you. My mother was an adventurer. She was endlessly curious, loving and generous. She laughed often and much. She was always a well of endless positivity, even to the end. She consistently looked for the best in others, and she found it. She was the most brilliant person in the room, whip smart with a captivating mind, but also humble and kind. She taught us the names of all the flowers. She loved nature and appreciated its beauty and its bounty. And she learned this from her mother. She was a natural and fearless leader. She had what I like to call executive potential, and was not only multifaceted, but also multi-talented, a patient teacher, interested and interesting. Her curiosity and her wonder at the whole wide world was a blessing, and all of us soaked it in. She told me once that she always wanted to go places, and she did. Boy, did she go places, and she took us with her. Saudi Arabia, India, Kenya, Thailand, Dubai, Ireland, Switzerland, Italy, Hawaii, just to name a few. She was the consummate tour guide. Exploring the world with her was a rare and singular education. Riding trains all night in Europe, waiting for tigers in the jungle, riding elephants, always trying to speak the native languages, and always learning about local history, art, food, culture. She had the gift of blarney, and she was our family historian and storyteller. I loved listening to her tell her stories about growing up, especially about her 4 brothers and uncles. About them jumping off the roof, setting fires in the backyard, Terry running away from home and hiding out of the dresser when he was 4. Her spending summers learning how to sew from her grandmother. She had so many great stories. But one of the most precious gifts, probably the most precious gift, obviously, was her love. But also the most precious gift that both my parents gave us was their happy marriage and her love for my dad. Their love is one for the ages. She absolutely adored him. He was the love of her life. I mean, they were the ideal couple. They still are. When she was 19, she saw his picture and decided he was cute. So she went to a party and made sure to meet him. That's what she told me. Their first date was 5 days later. We went to a Loyola picnic and then talked until midnight at New Orleans. And as they say, the rest is history. 3 years later, when he asked her to marry him, his pitch was, "Marry me and I'll show you the world." And he kept his promise. He loved her and he cherished her, and he certainly did show her the world, over 100 countries. They got married the week after she graduated college, and she wrote in her wedding book that it was the happiest day of my life. and they shared almost 58 years of true love and happiness together. Her devotion to my dad and our family are blessings that we will always, always treasure. Recently, my dad wrote to a friend, "I didn't know what a wonderful person I was marrying when we married 55 years ago. She was a seamstress, a quilter, an artistic home designer, a wonderful mother, and a great cook. She had a great memory and great sense of color, a wonderful gardener, mind sharp as a tack to the end. I'll have some big holes to try and fill in my life. What an extraordinary woman she was. God was wonderful letting me find and marry her." She taught me how to be a mother, and I learned from the best. Every time a baby is born, and so is a grandmother, and she prized being known to her 7 grandboys, as she called them. This was her favorite role, loving them, teaching them, watching them grow and learn and discover the world and who they are. And I was so fortunate to take care of her those last few weeks. It was a precious gift that time. Priceless. I got to be her designated pillow fixer. I kissed her and loved her and held her hand. And she gave me the greatest compliment when she told me, "You should have been a nurse." She taught us patience and sacrifice, integrity and acceptance. She taught us love. She was my North Star, my sun, my compass. She was my home. Because of her, the world is a better place. Because of her garden, her happy family, her charity, and her care for the less fortunate. It's a privilege to be her daughter, and I think we can honor her by emulating her legacy of adventure and philanthropy, eternal optimism and integrity. I know she's at peace now. There's no more pain, only joy, and I'm so thankful for that. I picture her with God in a fragrant spring garden full of colorful flowers and butterflies and roses and daffodils and peonies and birds, her favorite place. And I think she's there now with her loved ones, her mother and father, Rita and Dick Hotchkiss, her brother Jeff, his wife Kathy, her cousin Jackie, her sister-in-law Mary, her brother-in-law Don, and my grandparents Ida and Mari and Brunasso. I hope they're all enjoying a beautiful garden party together. Finally, I would like to close with these beautifully fitting words written by 11th century Spanish poet Judah Halevi. "'Tis a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, to hope, to dream, to be and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, and your word was gift to me. To remember this brings painful joy. 'Tis a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. Thank you.